Good afternoon, John O'Flaherty, the B3 Burner, and today is Wednesday, April 16th, 2025, but we're going to roll the clock back to Saturday, January 25th, 2025 to go to the winter edition of the Turlock Swap Meet that I took the Cadillac to. And I talked to a few people, though that itself is not recorded here. Took a picture of a few cars and generally had a good time. Even though it started off cold, it still turned out a good day.
Well, here I am. It was a cold morning and a long wait in line at 7 o'clock, or actually 6:20 when I got here. But I'm in, and the car is here. So there we go, and I'm going to take some pictures and look for some people I know. Talk to you later.
And here I am, dressed for success on a cold winter's day. Looks like I have a t-shirt on, a overshirt over the t-shirt, then a thin jacket, a heavy jacket, a scarf, and then the hat, and then I also had gloves. So yeah, it was started off in the high 30s, low 40s, and I was ready for that. Well, let's not dilly-dally any further. Let's get to the cars, and we'll start with mine since I'm going in order, and it was the first one I took a picture of after getting out of it. And I want you to notice two things. One, how clean it is, because I usually don't keep up on that as well as I should, especially the white walls and the tires, and they were looking pretty good. And then the second thing is this picture was taken at 7:48. The show had been open for 48 minutes at that point. It opened at 7 o'clock, and look behind the car at the fence and notice the big line of people still waiting to get in. So that's a good indicator of just how popular this was on a Saturday. The first day always attracts the most people, and then Sunday not so much so. And now another angle of my car. Notice that 48 minutes into this, the row in front of my car was starting to fill up pretty quickly, but you can't see it from here, but you can see in the first picture I showed you earlier that there were not that many cars in my row yet. I was one of the first ones there. Nobody wants that row, and what winds up happening is I take it and then everybody fills in around me as people continue to file in after 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and realize, hey, there isn't much space left. We're lucky to take what we can. So there that is. Well, I'll admit I'm a little biased. I do like Cadillacs, and of the 20 pictures I took, maybe a fourth of them were Caddies. So there that is. This is either a 69 or a 70, I don't recall. Cadillac, it looks like a Sedan DeVille, painted in rough black, or what do they call that? When it's not shiny, it's dull. Oh, come on, John. There's a special name for it. It's called, well, so they call it murdered out. Flat black, that's what that is, with a black grill. Geez, I'm a car guy and I couldn't remember that. Low profile tires, large rims, definitely a custom look for this car. And here's the same flat black 69 Cadillac from behind, and it's got a for sale sign, but you can't read it from there. The guy left the windows closed. My guess is he parked there the night before. Some people, when they got in early on Friday, could park Friday night, and he rolled up the windows, and they're all dewy from the condensation. He didn't just drive it there that morning. I wonder if that is a paint chip or paint missing on the left C-pillar. I hope not. The car in some places looks a little rough, but it's basically all together and straight, and it even has custom exhaust pipes. Unfortunately, it's got a new license plate, not period correct, but that doesn't stop the car from being nice for what it is. All right, this next one, I'm not 100% sure of the year, but by the forward slant of the front end, I would have to say that may be a 67. A 67 Coupe de Ville convertible in cotillion white, very popular universal color amongst Cadillacs of that era. Mine's Cotillion White as well. Beautiful example of it right there. And now the same car from the rear. Note the yellow on black license plate, but I think that's not period correct. That is either a personalized plate of which I don't know the meaning, or it's one of the standard issue new yellow on black license plates. But still, it looks good on the car. Yellow on black looks period correct, even if it's not. This car has an interesting situation going on with the taillights. The lenses look white, but I have a feeling inside those are red bulbs in order to make that glow red, even if the lenses themselves look white. Interesting how they did that. And I'm not sure I see the reverse lights, but they're somewhere back there. Hey, so how about that? The first car I've taken a picture of that isn't a Cadillac. This is a 1972 Ford Ranchero. And the man looks like he's ready to do some swapping himself. He's got a lot of materials in the back. That bicycle he might be using to ride around the swap meet and cover a little bit more territory, as it's important to see everything that's there if you're going to swap. And this is what the back of a Ford Ranchero looks like. The Ranchero is the direct competition of Chevy's El Camino. Both of them pickup truck cars. Pickup trucks were not as popular back then as they are today, but people like the versatility of having a passenger car front end with the versatility of the bed in the back. Obviously, they didn't last very long as people got smarter in the later years and decided, well, if I want a pickup truck, I'm going to get a pickup truck. And then they furthered utility by making quad caps, but that's a whole different story for another time. Well, now, there's a novel idea. That's code word for either you love it or you hate it. Early 60s Cadillac done up like an El Camino. Ripped off the back and removed the trunk and made a bed out of it like the back of a pickup truck. Again, the same utilitarianism as the Ford Ranchero that we just saw. Well, in fact, you can still see the Ranchero in the background to the right. Some people would say, hey, you ruined a perfectly good-looking Cadillac. The other people would say, well, the body's kind of scraped up anyway, and I see some rust around the taillights. If you're going to do it to anything, you may as well do it to that. Here's a 66 Caddy sedan, and it was for sale. Looks like it was $8,500 or best offer. I covered up the phone number so nobody on the internet tries to call. For all we know, it's sold, and the owner probably doesn't want to be bothered. So to respect his privacy, I went ahead, covered up the telephone number. But it is a good-looking car. The front end looks good. The car overall looks clean. And here's the same car from the rear. It's actually a Fleetwood, which automatically means it's four doors. That's one step below being a limousine. And in fact, there's a lot more room in the rear than there is in the front. And those two guys that are standing there talking, I overheard them talking about this car, and they said it's actually quite uncomfortable to be a driver or a front seat passenger in this car. They really emphasized room for the rear seat passengers at the expense of the driver. So if you were driving this car or buying this car as a classic to enjoy driving, you might want to think twice, as the driver's comfort is not top priority. Okay, so let's leave the 70s and the 60s and step back in time another decade to the 50s. I don't know if this is a Ford or a Chevrolet, but it is a very nice looking car. Not only is it two-tone, but it's not straight up fire engine red and white. It's that soft sort of gray mixed with what looks more like a raspberry red. A very nice color combination, and he's got the radiator chromed out, and the car looks extremely nice. In the past, we've discussed the oddity of appearing in somebody else's YouTube video. Well, this is the case of that. This is a paused screenshot from their video of me sitting in the car after I had just pulled in. And here's a closer shot of me as he was making his way around the car. I remember this when it happened. I had just literally parked and turned it off, and already the guy's filming before I even have a chance to get out of the car. And I remember thinking it's kind of awkward. Well, do I look at him and make eye contact with the camera and wave hi, or do I just sit there looking serious and let him take care of his business? And I opted for the latter. It's sort of a wide-angle lens makes the car look longer than it really is. And next I'll show the video from the two YouTube channels. There were two separate videos, each one pretty darn short.
They're in through Cadillac Coupe. Straight out of a Scorsese movie.
Cadillac for sale.
And finally, we concluded the day with the old adage, into everyone's life a little rain must fall. Or as is the common colloquialism this day and age, everything was fine until it wasn't. I'll go into it in greater detail in the next video, but I had to have the car towed back home because I was getting a low oil engine light and a ticking sound, which you'll see in the video after this one. I go into greater detail, but I was down almost a month without use of the car. You just dropped the car off. The tow truck driver tipped the car back onto the street, and I just made a right turn and got up the slight hill of the driveway and into the garage as quick as I could, knowing that the oil situation was not good and I didn't want to harm the car any more than I already had. As it turns out, there was no harm. I turned it off in time and it got fixed, but this certainly wasn't the way I was intending to leave the swap meet. But other than that, the swap meet was good. I got to see some people I knew and got to take a picture of a lot of nice cars. I'm John O'Flaherty, the B3 Burner, and I'll talk to you later.